Here's my Acanthoscuria chicolina, the Bolivian salmon pink. Landed in the water. Get out. This one's mean, I tell you. Another mean New World tarantula. Nearly always when I put water in her enclosure, or in her little cup there, I have to keep her away from it, otherwise she jumps right in it as I'm pouring the water in there. And then of course that makes her mad, and then she gets in a threat posture. Yeah, she will definitely be one that I will not hold. She's too mean. And plus she eats like there's no tomorrow. So I don't want her to mistake my finger for food. So no holding this one. She's really cool. All right, next. Here is my soon-to-be someone else's Theraphosa sturmey, Burgundy Goliath bird eater. I will be mailing this one out tomorrow. This was the one I traded for the Singapore blue. So I will be mailing this one tomorrow. And it will be my first mail out, so I hope that I do a good job. I've seen many videos on how to do it, so hopefully I've learned something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this one, I'm going to feed this one a couple of crickets since it's going to be traveling, and I want to make sure that it is well hydrated. Oh, I gotta get that one. That one's huge. Oh, come on. Dumb cricket. There. Get you some more water too. So, plenty of humidity in there. So this one should be just fine. And again, I appreciate everyone's help in helping me to determine whether this is an apophysis or a sturmey. And most people definitely think it's a sturmey. So I did not want two sturmies. So that was very nice of the guy to say, hey, you want my Singapore blue? I was like, sure. Sounds good to me. It's a good trade. Singapore blues aren't cheap either. This tarantula wasn't cheap. And I know that Singapore blues aren't cheap. So it's a good trade-off. A juvie for a juvie. Both awesome teas. Well, Roy, I hope you enjoy this one. I really do. He's been a pleasure to have. But he is defensive, so be careful. He will readily flick hairs and will threat pose. But you probably already know that since you have some Theraphosa of your own. So. Alright, get your one last look at this one. because this will be the last time you see this one. All right, that's enough. We'll move on to the next one. Bye, little one. Okay, we will not be feeding this one today because it is freshly molted. Hasn't been long enough yet for it to be able to eat. This is the Poecilotheria striata, the Mysore ornamental. Let's see if I can kind of prod this one out a little bit so we can get a look. Oh wow, look at the orange hairs. Look at that. What a beauty. At first, I thought this one was a male, but now I'm starting to think it's a female, which would make me very happy. If you guys think that I'm wrong, feel free to let me know. I like to know these things ahead of time. But it's looking like a female to me after all. Unfortunately, the molt was destroyed where I needed to examine it. That figures. So I can't get a 100%. Made me jump. Look at that. Look how big she is. Let's see, when did she molt? Let's see, today's Sunday. I think she molted Thursday or Friday. Well, it definitely hasn't been long enough to feed her. I know that for sure. Look at that. Gorgeous tarantula. All pokies are. Believe it or not, they're not my favorite tarantulas. I mean, I think they're gorgeous. I think everyone who's had experience should own one. But I actually prefer terrestrials myself. I like the big bulky tarantulas that stay on the ground most of the time. You know, everybody has their favorites. But yeah, pokies are really cool. Look at the yellow warning legs. This one hasn't given me a threat posture yet, but we're going to try not to give her much opportunity to do that. All right, girly. We'll leave you alone. We just wanted to look at you, see your beauty. Sorry I can't feed you today, but I got you some water. Pokey did all that webbing when it was in pre-molt. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Let this one go back to where she came from. Speaking of tarantulas that just molted, this is my Vicularia vicularia, the common pink toe. This one literally just molted like a day or two ago. Unfortunately, it is a male. I sexed it. I got the molt out fresh enough so it was not destroyed, and it is indeed a male. But isn't he gorgeous though? Look at that. He's beautiful. So yeah, we can't feed him today. And since he is a lot larger now, this is the last time you're going to see this enclosure for this one. This one is going to go into a taller arboreal setup. Now that it's bigger, it's time to move. So I'm going to go shopping, and I'm going to hopefully find a suitable one for this one. And get some better wood to climb on. So Next feeding video will be in a different enclosure. All right, we'll put Mr. Poopers up and we'll move on to the next one. Guess who else decided to molt? My Nandu chromatus, the Brazilian red and white. Or some may call them white striped bird eater. Those are the two most common names I hear. But it has been long enough for this one to eat. So we're gonna fatten up that rump and see if I can find a good superworm. This one actually surprised me. I didn't catch on that it was in pre-molt, but that does explain why this one denied food last time. Just took me off guard. Look at her. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at that girl. Man. Very impressive specimen. She's beautiful. Don't want to mess with her though. Whew. Doesn't take much to get her to throw a threat posture. She'll bite. She's mean. But because of her quirkiness, I really like her a lot. She's funny. This is turning out to be a pretty long feeding video, isn't it? I want to take a longer look at some of these teas. This has definitely been molting season over here, I'll tell you what. Would you like another worm? You are certainly welcome. I have plenty. Well, okay. You're interested. Look at her. Man, she's gorgeous. Everybody needs one of these. Seriously. I wouldn't recommend this one as a first tarantula, but maybe your, I don't know, third or fourth. They got nasty urticating hairs and they're fast and they will bite. Did you get both of them, sweetie? Oh, you sure did. She got both of them. I knew she'd be hungry. With as long as this video is going, I may need to turn this one into a 3-parter instead of a 2. We'll have to see. I'm just having too much fun today. I started off thinking I would just have one tarantula. Well, just like with potato chips or cookies, you can't have just one. So I went from 1 to, how many do I have now? 32? 33? 33? No, it'll be 32 after I get rid of the one tomorrow. But why stop there, right? Alright, we've looked at her long enough. I'm going to freshen up her water. It's kind of yucky looking. And move on to the next tea. Thanks, girly. And what did my Brachypalma avopilosum Honduran curly hair do as soon as I picked up her enclosure? She went scampering off into her cave where we can't see much of her. Shame on her. Shame. But, you know, despite that, I'll go ahead and, oh, there you are. There you go. I'll feed you anyway. Well, you got to see a few flash of legs there. Have gorgeous legs, girl. Alright, we'll move on to the next one. And here is my Acanthoscurria brocklehursti, the Brazilian white banded. Let's see. Of course you do. Shouldn't have doubted you. Besides my Bee Balmy, this is the other one that flicks hairs like crazy. Yeah, I got you some more water too. How about that? Well, you look beautiful. Alright, next. Here is the entrance to the Cave of Death. This is the home of my Chilobrachys guancinensis, the Chinese fawn. I see he or she way down in there. Unfortunately, you can't. And this one really prefers to eat in solitude. So we may not be able to see this one. I haven't given this one crickets in a while. So let's try a cricket. Oh. Dumb, dumb, dumb. I don't know if you saw that, but that was actually quite cute. Came up to the tongs and just took it and backed up. Like, thank you. Sure, I'll take that. Well, maybe you got to see a little bit of her, he or she. Hadn't sexed it yet. Cool. Alright, next. Here's my very mean girl, Ceratogyrus brachycephalus, the greater horned baboon. Right at the entrance to her burrow there. She's mean. She doesn't play. She's not. No. Fangs bared. There you go. You're welcome. Yeah. Woo! Those fangs were bared. But thankfully she took the cricket instead of my finger. So awesome. Alright, next.